Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Best IT Solution. And today we'll discuss another important topic, that is JPA. So JPA is also an module of Spring framework. Okay, so there is Spring Data JPA on a module in Spring framework. So we are frequently use that JPA with Spring Boot also. Okay, so what is JPA? So JPA stands for Java Persistence API. Okay, so it is a Java Persistence API. To understand JPA, we have clear knowledge of Java, RDBMS, JDBC, Hibernate. Okay, so to get the clear understanding of the JPA, we should have some knowledge about the Java, RDBMS. RDBMS is Relational Database Management System, JDBC, Java Database Connectivity, and Hibernate, this is a ORM framework. So JPA individual cannot work, so it is work always with an ORM tools integrated with. So Hibernate is default integrated with JPA in Spring Boot. Okay, so you should have knowledge all of these things: Java, RDBMS, JDBC, and Hibernate, because JPA it is related to the database. Okay, so in persistence layer it integrated. So JPA is a specification. When we want to shifting our code from one implementation to another implementation, so JPA is just a specification. Okay, so it is a concept only. So when we want to shifting our code from one implement to another implementation, at that time JPA works as a vital role. Okay, that is from Hibernate to Ibetis. At that time JPA is required. Okay, so suppose our application we have built with the only Hibernate without using JPA, but now during after some time we are just want to change the ORM tool from Hibernate to another ORM tools like iBetis or top link. So at that time it is very difficult to change the configurations of Hibernate to iBetis, and we need to write the all the iBetis configuration instead of Hibernate. So it is a tedious task to do all these things. Okay, so if we use JPA, so it is a layer over the this ORM tool. Okay, so we are not configuring the individual ORM tool in our application. We are just configuring the JPA, and JPA internally handles this ORM tool. Okay, so easily we can move from one ORM tool, that is from Hibernate, to another ORM tool like it's IBTs. Okay, so if we only use Hibernate without using JPA, it is very difficult of shifting to another implementation. Okay, so we can use only Hibernate or Ibetis to build an application. We can only use, so by using only Hibernate or by using only Ibetis, any ORM tool, we can build our application. Okay, but we cannot build an application by using only JPA. So by using JPA, we cannot build our application, because JPA is only just a specification. It is not a ORM tool. So it is just a concept only. It works with any ORM framework. So JPA also required any of them tool, that is Hibernate or IBDs, to build our application. Okay, so JPA individual cannot work. It is required any of the ORM tool to work with. So if we use Hibernate and JPA both, it is very easy for us at the time of shifting to our another platform. So it is a very common question, asking in interview, that what is the purpose of JPA? Why we will use JPA since we are using Hibernate from a long time? Why will switch to move to JPA? So it is very common question. So the answer is Hibernate and JPA. It is very easy for us at the time of shifting to another platform. Okay, so this is the main aim of the JPA. So hence Hibernate is required at all time. So Hibernate is required at all time. But if we want to switch from one technology to another advanced version with next features of technology, at that time JPA is required. Okay. So Hibernate is required all the time. If we use JPA, that time also Hibernate is required. But if we want to switch from one technology, ORM technology, to another advanced version of ORM technology, at that time JPA is required. So there are different types of ORM tools are available. That is ORM that is object relational mapping tools such as Hibernate, IVT, Stoplink. So these are the ORM, object relational mapping tools. Hibernate, IVT, Stoplink. Okay, so mainly Hibernate mostly used, and because Hibernate is default configured with the JPA, we can use any of them tools with JPA. Any of them tool like Hibernate or IBTC toppling, any of them tools we can use. But if we want to use IBTC toppling, we need to manually configure this ORM with JPA. But Hibernate is default configured. Okay, so annotation which is used in JPA. So there are many more annotations are there which is used in JPA work. When we are dealing with JPA or work with JPA, there are many more annotations we have used in our project. So common annotations I have mentioned here for your confirmation. Okay, so like at the rate entity. So entity annotation, this is used for create a entity in our database. At the rate table, so these are two alternate annotation, at the rate entity and at the rate table, both are used for the in creation of table in database. At the rate id, this is for primary key. So if we mention at the rate id in any field, above any field, that means that field is or that attribute is a primary key attribute, will create in database. At the generated value, so in generated value annotation, we are passing the strategy equal to generation type dot auto or sequence. So auto increment the primary key value, or the primary key attribute auto increment. Suppose 1 1 2 3 4, automatically it will increment. So generated value. And transient, so this is also annotation. If we want, this is a very important annotations. Basically this ask in interview that what is at the rate transient annotation. So transient annotation is used for, suppose there are in our entity class, in our class, suppose there are 10 fields, 10 attributes, but in a database we are only going to database table should contain only 7 or 8 fields. So 2 or 3 fields we are exclude from mentioning in the table to creating the table. So that column we need not to we don't want to create that column of that field. So at that time we can mention at the transient annotation about that attributes fields. Okay, so if we will mention at the transient, that attribute will not create a column in the table. Okay, so these are the mapping annotation. Okay, so there are four type of mapping annotations are there, like one to one, one to many, and many to one, and many to many. Okay, these are the mapping annotations, and mapped by also, that which by which class your table is creating. It is mapped by property, order by property. These are annotations. Okay, so these are the most commonly used annotations, and there is much more lot of annotations are there which are used in JPA work. So interfaces, so like what are the interfaces that are available in JPA during the work with JPA? We are use and interface like entity manager factory. This is one interface. Another one like entity manager. So this is an interface. These are the predefined interface, and entity transaction interface. This is an interface, and query interface. Okay, so JPA repository interface. So the JPA, these are the inbuilt interface. We can also create our own interface, and we can during implement this interface to avail the features of that interface. Suppose if we want to JPA repository interface, then we will create a custom interface in ourselves. Suppose we are creating a repository. So the user repository extends that JPA repository interface by which we can get access all the methods that are present in that JPA repository interface. Okay, so these are the interfaces which are available in JPA. Okay, so that much in this video. Okay, so this is all about the JPA. Okay, so in another section, another video tutorial we'll do practical of this JPA. Okay, so thank you guys. And if you think that you have got some knowledge from this video, so please to motivate me, please like, share, and share the video, and please subscribe the channel, by which I can motivate and prepare more and more video in this Java and Spring, in this type of content. Okay, so thank you.